Sandhan is going to be game changer for the aspirants. Mark my words. If they use it for their benefit, definitely a good chunk of the students are going to convert their results into positive. So this is one very unique thing. And I think nothing like this is existing in this market right now. And it is all for the student community to take up it and then use it for their own benefit. To keep themselves updated with the UPSC. And one of these is no doubt that Vision IAS, All India Prelim Test Series, Abhyas Test Series, and so as the Sandhan.
Hello aspirants, I welcome you to today's session where we are going to talk about the UPSC Prelims 2024 strategies, and we have with us our esteemed faculty from Vision IAS, Neeraj Rao sir. He has guided many of the students regarding UPSC preparation and he is one of the authority in modern Indian history and culture. I welcome you sir.
Very thanks Sunil for this warm welcome.
Sir, as we all know that UPSC is just on the call. Just 30 days are left. And this is in the air that the students are going for many mocks these days. They think that more they are going to give the mocks, the more they are going to score. They are compromising on revisions just to give mocks. And they are also preparing for mocks itself rather than UPSC. So how will you guide students regarding this?
Rightly said Sunil, that there is a need of balancing between the mock and the revisions. As Buddha said, that optimum path is the best path. So too much mocks is also not required and leaving revision is also very disastrous. So there must be a balance. And as you rightly said, that nowadays the students are running after the mocks as if they will clear the exam with the mocks itself. But the reality is that without the revision, on what basis they will be giving the mocks. So mocks are necessary to know the lacunas in their preparation, and at the same point of time, the revision is quintessential. So first they need to be well versed with the portions of the syllabus and then accordingly they can go for the mocks. So I would rather say that balance it in optimum way.
Indeed, sir. Balance is important in life also and in the prelims examination also. So, sir, how should students plan their revision schedule? So, do they need to have some revision strategies?
See, I would say, Sunil, that there is no magic formula for the revision, and it's very simple. That as many times one revises, there is a holding up of the information, that they will be able to retain the information. And if the revisions are less, so then obviously they will not be able to perform the way they are expecting. So first of all, students will have to accept the reality that how much revisions they have done and how much portion they have covered. Then one more aspect comes that there are 7 sections in the exam. So they will have to give the spaced revision patterns or revision times to these all 7 sections. As we go through the last 10-year, 20-year paper, so we'll see that 12 to 14 questions to 17 questions are asked from each and every section. So the challenge is to how to retain these information and how to improve your memory. So I would rather suggest that there are many innovative ways to increase your memory and then so as to revise faster. For example, that students can go ahead with the acronyms, they can create mnemonics. And in fact, nowadays, what is making circulation that music mnemonics, rhyming mnemonics, elitations, then apart from it, what is most important, that is spaced revisions. What is spaced revisions? That if one subject you have studied today, so at a regular interval, after 24 hours or 3 days or 1 week, it must be revised. Otherwise, one will not be able to hold up the information. Then apart from it, very important is sleep on the concept. What is sleep on it? Basically, what you have studied. When you are going to sleep, just keep that thought in your mind and just revise that portion before sleeping so that it stays in your sleeping pattern, and then you are further revising in your dreams. Then apart from it, getting enough sleep is also very important. And one of the most important thing is to move your body. What happens in the last month of the preparation, students are stuck up to their chairs and they are studying all the time. They don't know that they are accumulating the toxins also. So you need to release the toxins and get the fresh air. It is important to get the fresh air to retain all the informations.
Sir, you have rightly pointed out about the balance, but we need practice also. And students are idly confused about these set of days, that how should they plan their mocks. So, what will be your advice to them?
As we discussed earlier, Sunil, that too much mocks is also not required, but then not giving any mocks is also disastrous. So they need to, as we know that hardly 35, 40 days are remaining, so they need to space their test in 5 or 6 day interval. One test they can give, but it is very important to analyze those tests for 2 hours. Without analyzing, it will be not of any help. And moreover, last 15 days, I would rather suggest that student must not give any test, because if any anomaly happens in terms of their numbers, their rank, so it takes away their confidence. So I would rather suggest that last 15 days core revision, but no test.
So, sir, is there any other alternative that student can vouch for the practice and streamlining themselves according to the demands of the UPSC?
Yes, there are alternatives. And that's how, you know, that if in any industry, anybody stays because of their credibility and their effectiveness. So there are credible test series, there are credible organizations who are working hard in a very competitive fashion to keep themselves updated with the UPSC. And one of these is no doubt that Vision IAS, All India Prelim Test Series, Abhyas Test Series, and so as the Sandhan.
So, sir, let us talk about Sandhan. So, we already know about All India Test Series, we know about Abhyas. How Sandhan is different from both of them, and what exactly Sandhan is?
I would rather say one word, Sunil, that Sandhan is going to be game changer for the aspirants. Mark my words. If they use it for their benefit, definitely a good chunk of the students are going to convert their results into positive. So let's come to the features of the Sandhan. It's a kind of a personalized test, but then personalized to suit the interest of the student and at the same point of time increase the effectiveness of the student. So for example, let's go one by one, that in the database of the Sandhan, there are 15,000, more than 15,000 questions. So there is a good chunk of the good quality questions which students can attempt. And then apart from it, it's a personalized test. So for example, that many times what happens that when students are going with the full length test series, so some of the sections they haven't studied, and when they haven't studied, so they give the test, they get very low marks and it hits their confidence. So confidence is very important in this exam. You cannot go ahead in this exam without the confidence. So now in the low confidence, their performance would not be fine. In Sandhan, that they can choose the particular section. For example, they can choose the modern Indian history section, they can choose the art and culture or ancient and medieval. So now they have the option to choose these sections and then after test themselves on these areas if they have prepared. And then they will get the idea that where they are right now, what is their status right now, what extra they need to do. And in fact, there is a tailored approach in this in which if their performances would be analyzed and there would be recommendations to them from the expert side that in modern Indian history, what extra they need to do, in art and culture, in ancient and medieval, what extra they need to do. So this is one very unique thing. And I think nothing like this is existing in this market right now. And it is all for the student community to take up it and then use it for their own benefit.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for highlighting students the importance of Sandhan. Sir, PYQs are also important in the last days. Does Sandhan include PYQs?
Rightly asked, Sunil. PYQs are the eyes and ears of the students. See, one cannot go ahead in this exam without knowing the PYQs. And PYQs gives you indication that what kind of questions UPSC is asking, what is their language, and many a times that there are some questions like not correct, incorrect. Many a time students miss this thing. For example, last year, a unique type of question UPSC has asked that how many pairs are correct, how many pairs are incorrect. So students get idea about that what type of the question UPSC is asking. And if we are not including PYQs in the Sandhan, that will be a big mistake. So Sandhan includes all the PYQs. In fact, student can choose from Sandhan the PYQs of a particular section. And then accordingly, they can also get to know that where they are standing in the PYQs. So that's very much included in the Sandhan program.
Sir, history has become a hard nut to crack in prelims. Since it's your forte, would you like to tell us certain critical areas where students should focus more on?
I would emphasize that read history as a story, and that's how you will crack it. As far as the critical areas are concerned, in modern, one can be well versed with the advent of Europeans, acts and commissions, and the freedom struggle part. They must be very well versed with, and so as the personalities. In ancient and medieval, timeline is very important. So they are often asking the question based on the timeline. So one must be well versed with the timeline. So as some critical areas in the ancient and medieval is Indus Valley civilization, Ashoka's period, and so as Ashoka's inscriptions. Then apart from it, Gupta period, and one can go into the reading of the mainline Chola dynasty. Then after, when coming to the medieval India, so the most important area is the Vijayanagara kingdom, and so as the Mughal administration and the Mughal period. In art and culture, I believe that for this year exam, temple architecture is very important. And as you must have seen, everybody must have seen that Jainism, Buddhism is a fact in the UPSC. No year paper is complete without a question on the Jainism and Buddhism. So one can pay special emphasis on these areas.
Sir, as we all know that prelims is quite unpredictable. UPSC always changes the format in the day itself, on that day. And how the students are prepared, they feel shocked when they go to the examination hall. We have seen this in 2023 also. So how should they approach 16th June this year?
As you rightly said, that unpredictability is one of the very correlated thing with the UPSC. Many times people say that UPSC is like unpredictable public service commission. So the most important thing for the student is that accept the unpredictability. Once you have the acceptance, so then you can further go ahead. Moreover, then after the students need to decide that they will be looking at the paper, just go through the paper 2 times and then you will get the hold of the paper that it is tough or is it easy. If it is easy, so then attempt more number of the questions, and if it is difficult, so just decrease the number of the questions you are going to attempt. At the same point of time, people will be asking that how come we will get to know that paper is difficult or paper is easy. So there comes the role of the mock test and the test series which are credible, which are very similar to the UPSC. So Vision IAS endeavor of Sandhan and Abhyas is very closer to it. So they can practice it and accordingly they will be able to figure out that paper is easy or difficult. Then after, go ahead with the paper with the confidence and never be nervous. One very important aspect in the prelims exam that CSAT portion is often neglected. And as we have seen earlier also that many a time students are getting good marks in the GS, but then they were not able to do good in the CSAT paper.
This year also, sir, many students were not able to qualify CSAT itself.
Yeah. So they were not able to get even 66 marks. So don't neglect this particular aspect of the civil services exam or prelims exam. So revise the CSAT aspect also and then give some tests related to the CSAT also. This will definitely help. I think that 4 to 5 tests for the CSAT would be enough.
Thank you, sir, for such an insightful suggestions. I think students will get benefit out of this. Final words from your side to the students, sir.
I would like to say, consult not your fears, but your hopes and your dreams. Consult not your frustrations, but what is your potential. Consult not where you have tried and you have failed, but what is still possible for you to do.
Thank you, sir, for such an insightful session. And thank you, viewers, for watching this session. All the very best for Prelims 2024.